Hello, I'm Rowan, and today we are going to do a hardware review on a product that we just picked up. I know that considering the environment we're in right now with AI basically stealing everything that has a microchip in it, people aren't really upgrading equipment, but we decided, what the heck? This doesn't have one of those darn DRAMs or VRAMs or RAMs or whatever you want to call them. All the frickin', yes, this is a technical channel. But no, we're kind of sick of the BS with all the AI centers stealing, stealing all of our access to technology. But today we're going to do a technology review anyway, because the last I checked, they're not stealing our keyboards yet. Just wait, they'll find a reason to do that too. But today we are going to be looking at this Keychron Oh yeah, this is the box. Yeah, we did our best so that no one could tell where we live. And hello, Amazon, could you not do this? Could you maybe put the product in a shipping box and put a little label thing on top of that? That way when we have a product that we want to show, we don't have this all over it. Yeah. Anyhow, you can tell that they shipped it without anything else, and we've got a little damage here on the outside. But lucky for us, it came just fine. So there are a whole bunch of variants of this piece of equipment. This Keychron C3 Pro TKL mechanical keyboard. The one we got is the red. So let's go over some basics. Obvious TKL layout. That's this layout. Gasket mount design. Yes, it has gaskets. Web configurator. We don't intend to use the web configurator because this particular device works with VIA, which is a big bonus for us because even though we like our other keyboard, the Keychron keyboard, which is the mate to this, for some reason our 10 key by Keychron uses VIA, but our keyboard by Keychron doesn't, and that's kind of a problem because we kind of want to be able to do stuff with it. And yes, it comes with its own software, but really, guys, why not just make it work with VIA? Yeah. Anyhow, so we got this. We got this Keychron C3 Pro, and there's like a billion freaking variants. A lot of them involve the kind of keys that are on the computer thing. Yeah, sorry, I've got too much crap in my brain. But a lot of them involve the switches. We got the brown switches, quote unquote, which we're assuming means that it's a Gateron brown switch, and it's fairly quiet. Ours is the red backlight version. It originally came with a few red keys, but we've swapped them out so that, instead of having these bright red keys, they're all black, because there's nothing quite as sophisticated as all black keys. Now, I mentioned we got the red backlight version, right? And that ran us about $49. You can get the RGB version, and that will run you about $55. So about, $4, $5, $6, whatever, tax variations. You can get this with full RGB instead of red backlight. Now, you notice there's a cable. It's not just because we like cables. This keyboard, this model of keyboard, does not have Wi-Fi, and it does not have Bluetooth. Now, considering that our other keyboard ran about $50, and it has Wi-Fi and it has Bluetooth, you have to ask yourself, why is this worth as much as the other one? Well, I mean, we're not going to go into a huge A-B comparison here, but having used this for about an hour or so now, I've got to say the keys feel so much smoother. Even though the Keychron is a very nice keyboard, these keys seem to be smoother. There have been times with the Keychron that it just felt like I pushed a key and it just didn't do what it was supposed to. This one, very smooth, very quiet. I'm going to try to do some basic typing here. Let me bring up a text document somewhere. You hear that? It's very quiet, but you can hear it. Now, I'm going to turn off my voice modulator.
Hi there. Yeah, I know, my voice sucks. But here we go. Now. And voice modulator is now
on. On.
And off.
Okay, so it's fairly quiet. I mean, yes, you can hear it, and you can see that my mouth kind of does that little dip, pip, 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 because it's just enough to set off my microphone lip sync. I think I have it set to about negative 25 dB as the cutoff, so it's not very loud, but it's there. If you don't like a really loud, thocky sounding keyboard, this is great. Now, so there's positives and negatives to this. It's much smoother than the other keyboard, which I still love and we're still going to use. It's quieter. I have it all in all black. Now, what was the big deal about the other keyboard being white? Well, we do stuff with our cameras. We're going to have to blur Mr. R's face out. But you can see that here we are. We have two layers. We have the bottom layer down here, which is one camera. And we have the top, well, there are two different cameras, a top cam and a bottom cam. The bottom cam, it's got a normal blending mode. And the top camera has been set to a different blending mode. It's been set to a lightened blending mode. And what that lets us do is basically take anything that's dark. So for example, this keyboard right here, and because it's dark, it becomes transparent, which allows us to merge our bottom camera and our top camera with overlap to create this situation here where it's almost as if we don't have a desk. So you can tell that my fingers have disappeared. Mr. R's fingers, they're my fingers too. And you can see that there's some weirdness happening here. But the point is that we're able to create this It's kind of janky, but we're able to create this thing here where I have full body mocap going through the system for being able to control what's going on with my upper half and my lower half, and to be able to stand up and to sit down with obviously some oddities there. But if I switch back over to here, you can tell that when I stand up and I sit down, here I am. It all works and it creates stability. But what happens when we have a big white keyboard in place instead? So for example, if I put that there and we go back over to the split camera, you can see that now there's this thing in the way and parts of my legs disappear. Well, that's not that big, right? But what happens when it's twice as big? Well, now more of my legs disappear. What happens when it's the size of the entire keyboard? Well, then we have a huge section of leg disappear, which means that the tracking goes away there. Anywhere that there's a white piece on top knocks out tracking. So that's another reason why we bought this keyboard. So we have all sorts of reasons to buy it. They're not all going to be things that you care about, but they are going to be things that we care about, and that's why we bought it. That's why we found that it had value to us. You're right, the color was what... You bought the car because it was black? Yeah. Well, no, it's not that simple, honestly. This is a very well-built keyboard. It has got the channeling there. It's got this little thing going on here. There's a USB-C connector, and it's got little wings that stick out and little grooves in the case. So when you pop that cable in there, it's anchored well. It's not just the electronics that's holding that port in there. It's the case and the casing on the USB cable itself are all there. You are not likely to break this cable because you move the keyboard and all the electronics went one way and the case went the other. So that's a nice little thing. Now, there are various settings we can do to change the brightness of our of our red light, and there are other things we could do to make it shift around and do little weird poppy things. There's like 10 or 12 different color combinations. Well, they're all the same color, Rowan, but there's 10 or 12 different pattern combinations and weird things you can do. But that's not why we bought this keyboard. And of course, it's not the RGB version. This is the red version. The RGB has like 22 different combinations of stuff you can do. But considering that we mostly just want a keyboard that has backlighting and clear letters so that we can actually see them in the dark, we're good with this. We are very good and happy with this. Now, you might find this to be useful, or you might find that you really want the RGB. Well, the RGB is $5 more. And again, it doesn't have wireless, which honestly, in the long run, we think that's a better thing. This is our personal opinion. Here's our hot take. All these devices that you buy that have batteries in them are gonna die. They're gonna die because eventually the battery goes bad and you're gonna have to swap it out. In the case of a keyboard like this that you can take apart, not such a big deal because you can get another battery and get it, well, normally you could, but what if the AI people come for your batteries? They're already stealing your power. Why don't they just steal your batteries? Well, you know, they're evil. So I'm just going to keep going with this, even though it makes no sense. But no, the point is that even if you can replace a battery, then you have the additional environmental impact of the fact that you bought something with a battery for the convenience, and now that the battery's gone bad, you've had to go buy another battery, which costs you money, and now you have a dead battery that you have to take care of, and it has to go to e-waste, or actually it's a hazardous waste material, and that means it has to go to a special place at your recycling facility, and it's going to cost you money to get rid of it, and it has to go and be processed and have all the chemicals taken out, and maybe they can reuse it, maybe they can take the chemicals out and clean them and reuse them, maybe not, but it's a lot of waste and it's a lot of money, all for the convenience of having this keyboard that does nothing but sit in one place. Now, I could understand that if you really want a portable keyboard for some device that you go around with all the time, that you might want to have something that's wireless. But, you know, again, most devices have USB ports on them. So, yeah, I know. We do have wireless devices. We're not wireless curmudgeons. We don't walk around in the house with cables everywhere. We don't watch TV with like a great big 1950s picture tube with a line hooked up to some 4-button remote. We don't trip over wires at home, but we do try to minimize the amount of batteries we go through. Oh my God. Mr. R has grandkids and they lived with us for many years. Did you know that children eat batteries? I know they're bad for you, but you should never eat batteries because once they dissolve in your belly, you now have toxic chemicals going into your body that are also highly corrosive and very bad for flesh. So no, don't ever eat batteries, but it would seem that children and grandchildren eat batteries. So we have long since determined that if we don't have to have a battery in something, it's really darn good. So here we are, back to where we were, talking about keyboards and the fact that it doesn't have a battery in it. It's actually a bonus to us. And it could be to you if you think about it. So save some money, get something that uses a cord. You know, it's not that ugly. And once this cable gets relaxed, it'll be nice and straight, and it'll take just fine. Do a little. Hi there. We changed screens. Sorry, that's what happens when you have hotkeys. They're hot and keys. Anyhow, so I think that's pretty much the end of this video. Unless, of course, you know, I'm fidgeting now. Sorry, cord cutter? No, I don't think so. Okay. So, yeah, it might actually be a benefit to you monetarily and, you know, environmentally, and it could be worth not having Wi-Fi and not having Bluetooth and not having a battery in your keyboard. Fewer things to die and longer longevity. Longer longevity. That's like shorter shortgevity. But in any case, I think we're at the end of this video, and if you have questions about this keyboard, there's obviously places you can go to ask them, or you could ask us too. You could leave a comment, like and subscribe, do all those things so that we know what you want. So if you do have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and we'll be more than happy to talk more about this there, or maybe make another video depending on what you like. I hope this video was helpful, educational, informative, maybe a little fun, maybe a little bit of revealing about Mr. R and his family life. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever time it is, you're having a great time, and I hope to see you again real soon. Bye!